Our gospel reading on this day is taken from the gospel according to Matthew in chapter 5 and verses 1 through 12. Listen to these familiar words and what the Spirit might speak into your life in this reading from the gospel according to Matthew 5 and 1. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." May God bless to our understanding this reading from God's holy word, and to God's name be glory and praise. Once again, happy 75th birthday, Bower Hill Church. How the world has changed since you were born in 1951. Think about it, 1951. How the church has changed in 75 years. If this congregation were a person, you'd already be retired, with achy joints and grandchildren. Since you were born on February 4th, then you are, like myself, an Aquarius. Not that I put much stock in those things. And I think we're both a lot nicer than most Aquariuses. On this day, which is focused on our congregation's mission projects, I will say to you what I say every Christmas Eve and every Palm Sunday when I feel that there will be little time left for the sermon. This is going to be the shortest sermon of my career. And look, the lectionary, the calendar of Bible readings that we follow on Sunday mornings. The lectionary has cooperated beautifully today by appointing the Beatitudes and Bower Hill Church's favorite Bible verse of all time, which is Micah 6:8. Perhaps the only Bible verse that a lot of people in this church know by heart. And I've had this Bible verse requested for many funerals in this church because it sums it up. What does the Lord require of you? But to do justice and to love kindness. Don't just like it, don't just do it, love it, and to walk humbly with God. Justice, kindness, and humility, a life lived in God. Maybe, beginning on our 75th year, this can be our slogan going into the future, these three words: justice, kindness, and humility. But today, I want to talk ever so briefly about Jesus' words in those lovely Beatitudes. Blessed are you. Blessed are you. When I give the elevator speech about this church, here's the story I tell. It is overly simplistic, it misses a lot of details, but here goes. Our founding pastor, the Reverend Bill Barker, was best friends with Mr. Rogers. He officiated, actually, at Mr. Rogers' funeral at Heinz Hall in 2003. Just out of seminary, though, Barker went door to door back when clergy were expected to do those things in the burgeoning suburbs after the war to recruit members for a new congregation, which was to serve as an overflow to Southminster Church. Bower Hill Church was born and quickly became a large neighborhood church, which Barker pastored for 17 years. I am gaining on him at 15. But in 1965, Barker and the session, the church leadership, heard the rumblings of the civil rights movement and felt that it was no longer enough just to be a large neighborhood church. The world was on fire, and Christ's call was to love their neighbor. And so Barker took part in the Selma marches, and almost half the membership of this congregation up and left. And so the church that was established in 1951 found its identity in 1965. A medium-sized neighborhood church that cares about this world and not just the next one. In the last 5 years, we have really reclaimed that identity and become known in our presbytery, which is like a diocese, as advocates for racial justice, emphasizing LGBTQIA inclusion, environmental justice, and welcome for outsiders, refugees, and immigrants. In short, justice, kindness, humility, naming and honoring the blessedness in others. When Jesus spoke these beloved and poetic words on a hillside in Galilee, he was gazing out at the numberless unnamed poor of his day, sharecroppers and shepherds and day laborers, seamstresses and carpenters and fishers. He was speaking to people no one else had ever bothered really to speak to. And why were they drawn to him? Because he saw them. And he knew their plight. He shared it. And into the toil and the weariness of their hard lives, he speaks these memorable words, truths that perhaps no one had ever named for them before. Their blessedness. Blessed are you, you who are poor, you who mourn, you who have no power, you who are hungry, you who cry out for justice, you who show mercy, you who need mercy, you who seek peace, you who long for all that you lack, cravings of body or soul, you the downtrodden and the disadvantaged and the unwanted of this age. Blessed are you. To the God who loves the sparrows and all things humble, to the God who is humble above all things, you are dearer than any warrior or priest or king. Blessed are you. And so on your 75th birthday, Bower Hill Church, blessed are you. Okay, this has not been the shortest sermon of my career, but your calling is to see the blessedness, the belovedness in those who are cast aside, in those who are perhaps hated, some of whom cannot see the blessedness in themselves. See it, name it, honor it. And blessed are you, Neighborhood Academy, and blessed are you, First Baptist Church of Bridgeville, and blessed are you, Casa San Jose, and blessed are you, South Hills Interfaith Movement. Blessed are all who in this age of fear and greed do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with God. This is your calling. This is your identity. It's who you are. It's not complicated. It's quite simple, but it's also really hard. It will take everything you've got, and you won't regret it. And so let's do this for the next 75 years. Blessed are you. Amen.